By the way, my name is Bees P.
I'm Shanice.
And again, we'd like to welcome y'all. So we're going to dive into this, you know what I'm saying, so we don't want to hold up too much time. So the topic is polygyny, right? Polygamy is, there's a difference between polygamy and polygyny. Polygamy is when both male and females can have multiple partners. So you may have a wife you may have a woman that have two men, or a man that have two women. You know, this is polygyny that we deal in, where it's a man having multiple women, right? And so I want to touch on certain, briefly on the topic of tonight, the topic of polygyny. And I want to start off by reading something to you. It says, men standing in the truth of your poly desires, right? So men standing in the truth of your poly desires and the foundational mindset needed in a woman who is worth attempting to build with other women. Let me say that again. Men standing in the truth of your poly desires, because most men are polygynous, rather they're upfront and honest about it. That's another thing, right? So standing in the truth of your poly desires and the foundational mindset needed in a woman who is worth attempting to build with women, creating a space for men to be honest about their poly desires, starting with your own mindset and approaching the topic head on early in the dating process. And that's what I always say, not a blame thing, but I say that women don't provide a platform for a man to be honest. And what I mean by that is, if that man is honest and he tells that woman, listen, he come home, they might have been in a relationship for a while now, and then he come and tell that woman, hey, listen, I'm having desires of being with another woman, or, I'm speaking with another woman, talking with another woman, dealing with another woman, then usually he knows that at that time, that's when this whole relationship is going to expire. She's going to get upset, take the children, they'll have to end up selling the house. Any type of equity that they have, they'll have to end up getting all over the fact of him being with another woman, because in this society and in this culture that we was raised in, it's frowned upon, and it never was taught and instilled into our women. But as men, we know and understand how we are when it comes down to that type of a mindset. So again, just reiterating what I read before, is talking about men standing in the truth of your poly desires. So men, it's, and my issue is going to be with the men. I want men to stand up on integrity and dignity instead of laying down on a lie. I'm going to say that again. I want the brothers to stand up on integrity and dignity instead of laying down on a lie. Because you know what you're doing outside of your house, and then you come back in the house, and the woman that you with, she can feel that there's something going on. She may not be able to pinpoint it, but she knows that there's something going on, and then you have to go on in the relationship, basically as a liar, or, not being truthful to what it is that's going on. And if we be more upfront and honest as men, and, especially with the disproportionate number of women to men in today's society, they won't have a choice but to start to come around to it. And just keeping it a buck, most women have already dealt with a man that they knew had another woman anyway. You know what I mean? A lot of women have dealt with men that they knew had women, and so that's a polygynous relationship right there. The difference is that type of relationship is founded on and rooted in deception. And so we trying to get past the deception to get a better and fuller understanding. What you think about it? And by the way, this is my wife, Shayar. We've been married 6 years. I have another wife, Anaya. She will be on and off the show just as well as Shayar. Been with her 20 years, 6 years with her, and we all been living together now for 2.5 years. And, it's been a great process. But you can speak on it and let them know what you think as a woman.
Just to go back on that point that you made about how women deal with men, and knowing they have another woman in their life. The thing is, when it's a sneaky link, it's all fun and games. It's like, oh, I'm a sneaky link. We gonna link up here. His girl don't know about me. Women like it when it's in that sense, because maybe it gives them some type of sense of power or something like that. But then when you have to be woman enough to stand up and really be real about it, and that woman know about you, and y'all really have to deal with each other and like work together, which we're not taught to do, then it becomes difficult. So yeah, I think it's kind of funny that we're against it when it's up front, but we're okay with a sneaky link. So yeah.
And so, so my problem with this society and the way that we've been moving according to monogamy is that, monogamy has been the biggest problem in our community. And whether you understand it, like it, accept it, believe it or not, it's just the truth. Because, like I said, the men, it's hard for a man to, come forward and be upfront with what he's doing out of fear that he's going to lose everything that he worked for. So my thing is, how do you think that as a woman, for other women to be able to deal with a man and his honesty and letting his woman know that he's dealing with another woman, how was it for you? Well, I mean, like, well, not necessarily having to be in this situation, but just any other relationships that you dealt in.
It really comes from being logical, because being honest, starting from childhood, girls are taught about monogamy and how daddy should only have one woman, and tell mommy if daddy is with if he's talking to another lady or something like that. Like, that stuff is ingrained in us from our youth. So it's kind of become a part of our DNA. So we have to kind of reprogram our own minds by being conscious and just being logical. I know women that are twice my age, my mom's age on up, who have told me blatantly, every relationship I've been in, the man has cheated on me. So at 40, 50, 60 years old, if that's your experience, why not pass down the gem that, hey, this is how men are, to kind of help reprogram young girls from a younger age, just to be logical. Like, you know what? It's natural for a man to want more than one woman. Like, even if you think about biologically how we're made, like men, when they ejaculate, they let off thousands, millions of sperms at one time, being able to create billions and millions of life at one time. But us as women, when we have our cycle, we drop one egg, meaning that we can only produce one child at a time, maybe two, if something, great happens in that process by the process of God. So that goes to show that women were created to be monogamous and men were not physically created to be monogamous. So it comes down to just being logical in that sense. And like you made that point before, that women tear down their whole household. You're happy in a relationship with a man, and then you find out he has another woman, and you're ready to wreck shop and end the whole relationship. Why ruin your own happiness? Why take that away from yourself? Just be logical in that. So I think that's definitely where it starts, just being logical.
Right. And that's and listen, man, I tell people all the time, man, you put your logic over your emotions, because your emotions can lead you in a way that will be detrimental to your life, the people around you, your children, and the way that you just conduct yourself within a family setting. And so, I just want us men to get to the point where, as though we don't have to feel like, because the society has made a man feel like if he desires multiple women, or you deal with multiple women, then you understand, you hear those terms, he ain't shit, or men ain't nothing but dogs, and all these types of things. And this is a scenario that I give all the time. You know what I mean? I tell you, you take a 13-year-old girl, if she was raised in a house with decent parents, and parents that that base their lives on morality, morals, and principles and things of that nature, and then you take a 13-year-old boy who's raised under them same functions and rules and regulations of life. And so now when they go out to school and when they go out into the world, the things that they're taught out in school and in the world is going to be contrary to what it is that they're being taught at home. So that 13-year-old girl, she's taught at home preservation, preserve yourself. Don't you go out there and be sleeping with all kind of boys and be no little, they're going to look at you as a hoe and this, that, and third. These are the things that a 13-year-old girl here in the household, when she's coming up. But as a 13-year-old boy, what we don't even get really and truthfully, most 13-year, we're not getting no kind of instructions of what to do or how to control your sexual urges. You know, our older brothers, you know, we follow behind our older brothers, and you know, shit, our older brothers, they out there getting it in, coming in, or you may sneak in your brother's room and see him with a girl in the room or something like that. So there is no model to follow for young black males when it comes down to how to properly deal with a young girl. So that 13-year-old girl who's being taught preservation, you know, in her house, you know, by the time she is 16, you know, she's in the 10th grade, 11 or whatever, she feeling herself or whatever, you know what I mean? But her understanding is when she gets a boyfriend, that is just her and her boyfriend. Whereas though that 16, 17-year-old boy, in his world, he probably done had sex already, you know what I mean, multiple times, you know what I'm saying, with no type of strings attached, no nothing. And so now he's begun his stages of what's called learn as well as she has. And she's 13, moving on 14, 15, 16 with the mindset of preserve yourself until you get married. That's what a lot of young girls was taught when I was coming up. Nowadays, of course, it's different, but we still gonna deal with the dynamics of a stable and a healthy black family. So, like I said, you got this 16-year-old, 17-year-old young boy who was taught. Well, like I said, the young girl was taught preservation. The young boy, he just out there, you know what I'm saying? He taught to, you know, get rid of his, you know, get his funky off. That's what he's basically taught. And so, like I said, he's dealing in multiple situations. By the time he meet her, she's still a virgin. But now they connect up in high school. So she a virgin, or just only maybe had one encounter. And this young dude, he's 17, 18. Now she fall in love with him. But he don't have no idea of what, you know, him being totally monogamous with this young girl. He may love her and all those things, but he don't have an idea of what trying to be in a stable monogamous relationship is about. So then what happens? He ends up breaking her heart. She ends up finding out that he, you know, got another girl or dealing with another girl in the school or whatever. And each time that happens to that young girl, her trust in men is being devalued, and now she's having issues, building issues within herself when it comes down to trusting men. Meanwhile, in between time, the young dude, he still is out there. You know, he may, you know, we develop feelings for women at that time, but at the same time, you know, we moving into the thing of, you know, trying to conquer and as many women as we can. That's just the world that we live in, especially when you're talking about entertainment, music being involved, how the society is within the black culture is moving. This is what we're taught. So then you go on to that young girl. Now she's in college. So now her body count, if you, for lack of better words, you know, she may have had one strong relationship in high school. She might have dealt with another guy or something like that after she broke up with her high school sweetheart. Now she off in college and she runs into another young man. You know what I mean? He 22, 23 years old or whatever the case may be. He still has, now if he lost his virginity at 14 years old, he has about 8 years now of learned behavior. And his learned behavior is to sow his wild oats. Meanwhile, he's matched up with another young lady who was taught preservation. So now she deals with him. And then that doesn't go well. And so now she's graduating from college, got her degree, getting ready to move on into her life, you know what I mean? And got a you know, a career ahead of her and all those things. And the young boy becoming a young man, he's still trying to find himself. And a lot of the men, they know what we're talking about because this is our life. This is what we actually experience. So now let's move all the way up to 30. Now we 30 and serious now. We 30 and serious, right? Now it's time for marriage. So now that 13-year-old girl who was taught preservation and she watched other relationships in her household, whether it was her mother, auntie, sister, or whatever the case may be, or she could have came from a broken home as well, but she still had somebody, mother, auntie, sister, with cousins, whatever the case, that was telling her about preserving herself and not, letting men use her for her body, right? So she 30 and serious, and now he 30 and serious. He wants to be married. I was in this situation. You know what I mean? He want to be married. He want to do what's right. You know what I mean? Because morally speaking, that's the right thing to do. However, This man right here that's 30. He lost his virginity at 13, 14 years old. He has 16 years of learned behavior to try to control in the moment of dealing with this woman. If they was engaged for a year or two or whatever, and then they got married, he has 14 to 15 years stacked up against 2 years of trying to get himself together while being engaged to walk down this aisle. I'm not making an excuse for anything. I'm just telling you that this is the life. This is what goes on with men. And this is what we have to start coming to the table and talking about. And that's what this show is, Polynomics with Bees P. That's what it's about. Because, you know what I mean? I stepped out of that realm. So like I said, let's get to that. He 30 years old, she 30 years old. Well, that was actually my situation. I was 30 years old when I met my wife, Anna, and, you know, she was 27. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to be a liar, you know. So before we went down the aisle, I just looked her in her face and told her, listen, you know, I want to live to be in my 80s. I want you to live to be in your 80s. You know, that's 60 something years from now. You know what I mean? I cannot tell you that I'm never going to be with another woman for the rest of my life. Now, at that moment that I said that, I knew that was very detrimental to you know, what was going on at that moment. You know what I mean? Us getting married or whatever the case may be. And, you know, and so she responded, you know, sort of with the same thing, but it was out of love. You know what I mean? Like, I understood that that's not the type of person that she was, but, you know, basically was letting me know as well. I don't know what the future hold either. So we went down the aisle and here we are together, you know what I mean, 20 years later. And through that time, you know, we had our moments of, you know, like anybody else in a monogamous relationship, but me still being a young man on the road. I just signed my record deal with Universal Records. All my dreams and everything was coming true. You know, I'm out there kicking it. I'm all over. I got big money in my pocket. I'm moving around with 10, 15,000 in my pocket, all kind of, you know what I mean? You know, we just signed a major deal. Yeah, you know, we signed a major deal. You know, I'm moving around. We $400,000 in. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But then here it is. I got a wife at home with a baby. You know what I'm saying? And the difference between maybe me and other men is I just, you know, niggas say they a G, but I am a G. So if you a G, that G got to stand for God. You know what I mean? And if you a God, then you got to do things in order. You know what I mean? You got to do things with discipline and in order. So I had to go back and check in with her and just be like, listen, you know, I'm having thoughts of being, you know, talking or dealing with other women and whatever the case may be because of my love and respect for her, to allow her to say at that moment, well, listen, you know, that ain't something that I want to do. You know what I mean? And so at least I felt good about the fact that I was coming to her and letting her know that that's not, you know, that this is where I'm at. And if this is not something that you want to do, you know, then we won't be together. And that was scary for me. You know what I mean? I got a young daughter. You know what I mean? I want to be in the house with my daughter and my children. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that. But at the same time, I just couldn't be no liar. I couldn't be no man that just, you know, you married and you got a wife, you know, but then you out here doing whatever it is that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I just couldn't do that. So 10 years now moving forward, and that's when we going to get to, you know, where she comes into play. 10 years, you know what I'm saying, moving into our relationship, me and my wife that I was with, Anna for the longest. You know, I had to come to her and be like, well, listen, this is me. This is how I'm going to be. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm not that I have to have a bunch of women, but when you marry, there's a commitment there. There's an oath to God there, and there's promises made. And I'm just not one to, if you break that promise once, then you fail. It can be a woman that's been married to a man 40 years, and they can be in their 60s. And if that 60-something-year-old woman find out today, from her 60-something-year-old husband that 40 years ago when they first got married, within them first 5 years, he cheated on her, that shit gonna sting her.
Bringing it up.
Yeah,
I saw a video like that. It was an older lady on her husband, like, is you still talking to, like, this is a terrible example. Like, you shouldn't be that old on a man about that type of stuff.
Yeah, because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt her because now she's gonna feel like those whole 40 years or 35 years within the first 5 years of you being out there cheating on her when she was loyal and dedicated, and she found out 35 years later that them first 5 years, nigga, you was out there cheating, that shit gonna sting her like it just happened yesterday.
She gonna feel like she got tricked.
Yeah, them 35 years really, they gonna mean something, but they ain't gonna mean nothing because that shit gonna play on her mind so much that she just gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be a problem at y'all. Y'all here, y'all are elders, retired, and y'all sitting up arguing in the house
about estimate from 75 years ago.
Yeah, you know, like that's just crazy, man. So I had to come to her and be like, well, listen, you know, this is what I'm gonna do, and you know, and if that means that we don't be together, then you know, we just don't be together. You know what I mean? It's not what I want, but I'd rather be respectful and honest to you than to be a liar and to have you, because you know, anytime you making love or you having sex, having sex with somebody, you exchanging energy and spirit. You know what I mean? So you know that woman is wrestling in a household with you, and she can't figure it out. Why you want to play on that on her mind like that?
And we can definitely feel it, y'all. We can feel it. We may not be able to name exactly what it is, but we can feel when another woman's vibe or spirit is around our men. But you know what I want to ask you? I want to ask you, do you think that boils down to men being selfish in a sense by not being honest with the women in their lives?
Of course, it's selfishness. You know what I mean? However, is the selfishness predicated off of
Is it fear?
No, is it predicated off of selfishness? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can be selfish and not being maliciously selfish. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not really trying to hurt somebody, but you're being selfish out of ignorance. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Okay. You're being selfish out of ignorance. You're being selfish out of fear, which is what a lot of men would be doing if they out talking to another woman. You know, they love their wife, they love their lady, they don't want to hurt their lady. You know what I mean? But society has told a man that these feelings that he has to be dealing with another woman, something is wrong with that. Something wrong with you. You got to go to the preacher. Somebody got to go lay hands on you and all that type of shit. And I just know better than that. You know what I mean? So a man, you got to be willing to lose it all to gain everything. I'm going to say that again. You got to be willing to lose it all to gain everything. And the main thing you want to do is stand on your integrity and your principle, man. And if you standing on integrity and your dignity and principles and things of that nature, if that have you to be alone and single, then you need to be alone and single before you be laying down on lies and deception, you know, but perpetrating like you living a good life. You know what I mean? So once I was told my wife that was the case, and this is what I was gonna do with it, you know, just like any other woman, she's like, well, you know, that ain't me. I don't think I could live like that. You know what I mean? That's not something that I want to do. So then, even though we had a great relationship, everything was moving, at that moment of me being honest with myself and being honest with her, the foundation that we was, you know, built on, it started to crumble. You know, well, actually, it wasn't even a starting to crumble type thing. It was just, you know, well, that's not something I want to do. I don't want to do that. And this was 2010. She said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live like that. Okay, cool. Well, then I'm gonna have to go my way. You're gonna have to go your way. And who took the blunt of? I would say we both did. You know, it was just that me. Now I can't wake up with my daughter no more because you know automatically the child is gonna go with the mother. So I couldn't wake up with my daughter no more. As far as us all in the house together like we once were, and you know that was something that you know I had to swallow. You know, even though you know it didn't stop me from still spending time with my daughter every day, and I did. But you know, it's just the whole thing. You know, men, we love being in the house with a woman, and you know, having some stability, and you know that's so everything.
We make a house a home.
Yeah, that's everything to us. And you know, when it's ripped from you, you know, it hurts, especially when it's ripped from you by you ripping it from yourself. You know, which is what I did. But as it went on, you know, we still dealt with each other. I don't know why we got divorced because. Like, you know what I'm saying? I still was going over there, knocking her down.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Yeah,
knocking her down.
You know what I mean? Because that's what I was doing. You know what I mean? We still was
that's not cute.
Yeah, we still was together. You know what I mean? I still was, you know, she still was with my family all the time. And, you know, so 2 years into us being divorced and me living single, and, you know, I was doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't out there necessarily not, you know, sleeping with a lot of women because I wasn't. I've always been a man that has been in relationships. You know, but when you single, you know, you deal with something. And actually, I didn't. You know what I mean? I end up dealing with the woman that I brought to the table in the first place. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we ended up getting back together after 2 years of being divorced. You know, not going into many particulars. You know what I mean? We ended up moving from Cleveland to New York. She got a great offer for a job to live in New York. You know what I mean? She wanted to take that take that proposition that was given to her, and a proposal that was given to her, and I said like, well, you can't leave and take my daughter out of the state. You know what I mean? Well, it was. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. But we divorced. I just was like, you can't do that. But then she came and was like, well, listen, you always in New York anyway, working or whatever the case may be. So let's just move to New York. I figured we can move to New York together, live together for a year. Then you can move on your own. I move on my own. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, we get back in the house together. We gonna become domesticated. All that type of stuff. So you was plotting
already, like, yeah.
Well, no, I'm just thinking like, I'm thinking like. I can't change what I already told you 2 years prior, which is I'm not going to be a man that is just going to be with just one woman for the rest of my life. So even now we get back in the house together, I can't change that. You know what I mean? However, she's been a G about it and a trooper about it because, she had an opportunity to go out here and see what was out here, herself as well. You know what I'm saying? And shit, you got to go out here and find a man that's going to love you the same, that you're going to have, that you got to, you have a bond with him and a bond with his family and a bond with his children if you have any children. And that's a lot to have to start over and redo again as well. So going into that, we moved to New York. We ended up, after the year, I didn't move out. We ended up staying together. And I'm just giving y'all the real, you know what I mean, in my life. We ended up staying together. And, after about 3 or 4 years, I'm just like, okay, listen, I'm about to go get another woman, and then she was again really not really sure about it and not really wanting it. But at that time, we heavy off into the culture of being a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm teaching every day, and I'm going into the Bible and in the scriptures and things of that nature. And so, with all of that praying and studying together, she got maybe like a spiritual epiphany or whatever, and whereas though she said the Most High told her that she was going to be straight and to stay with me and everything was going to be good, and henceforth, that's when I meet her and bring her into the situation, and everything has went well. Not to go into so many of the details, but it ended up going so well that here we are 6 years together, and under one roof now for 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, 2.5 years under one roof, and I haven't had no issues. Like they respect, like my wife said on the other interview that we did, they respect each other's times. My wife, I've been with the longest, man. We've been so locked in. We going to the grave together. You know what I mean? And that's just how that's gonna be. We going to the grave together, and and for her to be the type of woman that she is, because she don't need me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like both of them very well kept when it come down to taking care of themselves. They don't necessarily have to have me to take care of themselves. You know what I mean?
But I still need you though. Like, don't get me wrong.
You can't live without the Don. But it's a thing. Whereas though, they know what's out here. Shit, I know what's out here too. You know what I mean? I look at the same men that these women got to go out here and look at. I go out here and see the same type of men. So, it's a thing whereas though, you gotta match up what it is that you have at home to what it is that you may potentially find out in the streets. And so,
and that's a great point as to why we named this Polynomics, share or die alone. Because some people might look at it like, oh, if I don't share my man, I'm gonna die alone. That's not actually what it's saying. It's more so be open to sharing, be open to more than just monogamy. Because if you limit yourself to monogamous relationships only, you're limiting your options because it's already slim pickings out here. So to pick through what's left of the good men, the right type of men that you will want yourself, and then to make sure that he's monogamous, you really putting yourself into a hole. So that's why we go with the whole polynomic share or die alone. Like, just don't limit yourself. That, kind of, that's what that title plays into.
Right. And, women think, a lot of women think that and I'm here to tell you, man, like I tell women this all the time. Like I deal and be around and talk to more men than a woman ever will. You know what I mean? And then when I say this, I get the pushback from women like, well, every man ain't like that. Well, guess what? If you single and you ain't married, then what I'm saying gonna hold and make more sense than what it is that you saying and what you holding to make sense. I'm telling women that the majority of men, and I'm gonna say it like this, the men that probably will give you everything that you want, y'all don't want that man. Y'all don't want that man. That's the man that been on your heels almost every other day in the coffee room at your job.
That's that I don't want the nice guy type of
Yeah. This nigga, you know this man wants you, but there's something about him. He ain't attracted to you. There's something about him that don't move you. But he the one that's gonna be monogamous to you and give you the world. But y'all want that man that got something about himself. Y'all want that man that.
I know what it is. Nobody wants a man that nobody else wants. But you want him to yourself.
Exactly. Don't no woman want a man that don't nobody else want until somebody else want it.
Mm-hmm. But men are the same too. You don't want nobody that don't nobody else want, because I know you like having something pretty on your arm and things like that.
Yeah. The difference is with as being a man opposed to being a woman. In this situation, I have the option to go put something else pretty on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
But I'm me, and I think that's what women have to understand. Coming, you have to be confident in yourself and what you bring to the table. He could put something else pretty on his arm, but I know I'm me. Okay. But look,
no, definitely, no, that definitely is the case, and I'm happy and satisfied with what it is that the Most High gave me. You know what I mean? That's why I don't, run out here and try to be with a bunch of women, because it's a part of my life. And if I can do that, or, it's understood in my household that if I go out and date with somebody and kick it with somebody or whatever the case, if it's going to become serious, then I bring it back in the house and let them know. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Just in you saying that, it made me think of something like, because like you said, you had those conversations with men where they be honest with you about wanting multiple women. I've had similar conversations with guys or young men about, like, would you want to date multiple women? And the first thing they gonna say is no, because they think that that's what we want. That's what they've been programmed into thinking that they should want. But then when I ask the question like, okay, so if you had a bomb woman, your dream woman, she's great, she's everything you want, love you down, everything. You got her in your life, but then you meet another woman equally as bomb, equally as dope, and she want to be in your life as well. Are you going to give up one and take the other? Nah. You going to want to have them both. And if they willing to work together and be calm, no beef, no craziness going on, would you deal with them both? And the answer is always yes. So, like, women, please understand that long as it's peace, the man is open to having more than one woman, but y'all are not creating a space for them to be honest with you about that, because y'all put, oh, do you want to deal with another woman? You're making it a whole negative situation instead of just learning him for who he is and accepting him for who he is and walking with him in that. So, yeah.
And when women hear about a man having multiple wives, the first thing they think is, oh, them women must don't got nothing. They must don't got nothing about
themselves. They ain't got no confidence.
Yeah,
they must be ugly.
Yeah. Both my wives are beautiful. They both went to school and got a degree or degrees or whatever the case may be. The same thing that women are taught to do. You know what I mean? And they ain't work. They don't have no type of insecurity as far as their own looks as far as what I know. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Every woman got something about herself she don't like, but over here we love ourselves. Like it's not that. But more important than just being women who have degrees and jobs and money and things like that. We're women who are, like you said, confident in ourselves and also know our value, because I think that's something that women lack and what creates a fear in being with a man with multiple women. Not being secure in who you are, like being like dope within yourself, for yourself first, so that when you come into the presence of a man that other women want and he has other women around him, you're not shaking in your boots. Because it's deeper. Being a good woman is deeper than the money in your bank account and looking good. It's about your spirit. It's about your mindset. And that's what we have to be more trained to gather and to bring onto ourselves, more than the money and the clothes and things like that. Because all of that stuff can fade. All of that stuff can be bought.
That's a fact. And so that's why I say all the time, listen, if I'm putting the blame on anybody, I'm putting it on the men. You know what I'm saying? If I'm putting the blame on women. I'm putting the blame.
I think it's a two-way street.
No, but I'm saying the reason why I'm saying I'm putting the blame on the men, because men we know. Like I said, you seen that by the way, we have another host. Her name is Tisha
Melanin Legacy. We're trying to get you on here.
And my thing is, like I said, I'm putting the blame on the men because we know. And so when you don't teach your son, hey, listen, my sons, I got two beautiful sons, man, 20 25, 24 years old. They young G's. They beautiful. They getting to the money. They doing what they supposed to be doing. And they beautiful, man. They handsome. They very talented. And they going through that thing because I told them. Now they in their 20s, man. And most young men in their 20s is not about to be monogamous with no one woman. You can forget it. You can forget it. He may be dealing with that woman for a while, but that young man in his 20s, he is going to deal with another woman. You might as well face the fact. It is, and if he, especially if he got something going on about himself, he dealing with other women. And so what I wanted my sons to always do, when you meet a woman, you let her know that up front. You let her know up front, listen, I like you. I want to be, I want to begin to get to know you and then possibly be with you. But I'm going to let you know this off the rip. I'm telling you that, there is a great, huge improbability, a fact that I'm going to end up talking to another woman sometime, somewhere during the course of our relationship. And you give that young girl the opportunity to say, okay, well, I don't want to do this then. That's not something that I want to do. And if she don't want to do it, that's fine. But and you know what you do? You walk away with respect still intact, and the peace between y'all is there. Y'all maybe still could be friends or whatever the case may be. And
so how do we sift out because a woman, if she like a man, she like, okay, oh, you want to deal with multiple women, but in her head she think, yeah, but if he brings somebody else around, she gonna get up out of here.
Listen,
so how does a man sift through that woman's mind to see if she's really genuine and really able to handle that in him, or is she just talking to talk because she feel like, well, I'm gonna be number one anyways, anybody he bring around, I'm gonna get rid of him? Because certain women do think like that. I'm a woman, I hear these conversations, lady. I'm telling how does a man figure out if she's really true and real about it?
Well, he's not gonna know that. He's not gonna know that until he get involved. And it don't even have to be a thing where though she intentionally deceived him. She may get involved, you know what I mean, and
think she
thought that's what she wanted to do, and then now she wrapped up in tune with her feelings, emotions, and now she wanting him, you know what I'm saying, to just be with her. I mean, just keeping the buck. You had a little, you went through that time where and it's understanding
because I had to grow with you in your
right, and you never
learning, and you
never
was having a lot of fun and doing a lot of
I'm doing what I said.
I had to grow with him.
Yo, I'm doing what I said. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end, like you can say that you want it, but you don't know if you want something until you get involved with it. And once you get involved with it, then you involved with it. And me being I'm not changing, backing down nothing for nobody, no woman, none of that. And I'm not saying that out of disrespect. I'm saying it because I love my own integrity and my own dignity. I would rather be in a corner somewhere alone than to be feeling like in a house with somebody where I can't be myself and be who I am. And to be honest, I'm 10 times more disciplined than most men who are in relationships, single monogamous relationships. We be in the barbershop talking. You know what I'm saying? Us men be in the barbershop talking. The majority of men, and I'm like you say, you telling on us, I'm telling on niggas. Because I want niggas to stop playing games with, if you really a G and you call yourself, you know what I'm saying? You call yourself a G and you a king and all this type of stuff, then be that. Exude that. And if that, and the only way you can be a G and exude that is by being respectful and by being honest. You dig what I'm saying? Those are the foundations and the principles of a real nigga, a G. Respect and honor. You know what I mean? And that's what you deal in. Being respectful and honorable. And so if that means that if you tell that woman the truth of who you are and she don't want it and she don't deal with you, then you take that. Then that's what you got to take. And then you got to let her go. And even if that's your lady. You know what I'm saying? I went through it. So I'm talking out of experience. You know what I'm saying?
Because he done told me a couple times that this ain't what you want to do.
Yeah.
You can...
Yeah, tell them both. You know what I mean?
And I don't like the way you say it either, but
hey, listen,
I respect it.
Hey, man, I gotta be so real now
because I know I can leave. Cause the window, the door, the floorboards, I have a way to leave if I want.
And I tell it too, like, listen, you ain't gonna have to leave out of here empty-handed or feeling like you gotta struggle and start all over. No, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to help you make it an easy transition. Move into your own place. You ain't gonna have to struggle. Everything gonna be sweet. You dig what I'm saying? But that's if now. Do I want that? No, no, I don't want that. You know what I mean? However, before I sacrifice my integrity and my dignity and me standing on what I know that's real for me, then I will lose it. You know what I mean? I'll lose it all to gain everything. And what I mean by that, when I said losing it all to gain everything, is because if you can't look in the mirror as a man, now I'm a woman too, but I'm speaking as a man. If you can't look in the mirror at yourself and say, man, listen, man, I'm totally free of lies. I ain't no liar. You know what I mean? If you can't do that, then to me, you're not a man. You're not a real man. You're not no G. You're not none of that. If you know that you out here kicking it, and you know what I'm saying. But now, my life is, I'm free. I don't have to live like that. If I want to talk to a woman or whatever the case may be, I can and I will. You know what I'm saying? And that's because I set my life up like that. I gave them opportunity to say, well, yeah, I'll deal with this. I'll deal with them. You know what I mean? This is what I want. Maybe they look at me as being a man enough to be able to handle situation. It's been 6 years. We haven't had no issues. You know what I mean? Though them two together is, you know, like I've never seen. Like I said, and like I'm blessed because to be honest, I'm not no. You know what I'm saying? I ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't possess that much of a God quality. Well, let me say. I'm gonna say I don't possess that much of a God quality to take two black women that are, you know, definitely capable of thriving, going somewhere else and having a beautiful relationship with another man or whatever the case may be, who may not have the same views as me. You know what I'm saying? But that is a risk that they have to take going out there trying to find another man like that. And most women done already, you know, and another thing, my thing is when it come down to women, most women done already talked to a man that they knew had another woman. Most women have already talked to a man before in their life and they knew that man had a woman. So they was dealing in a polygynous relationship. The difference is that it was founded in deception. The other woman did not know. And they can be fine with that. But then when I talk to them and ask them, well, could you just be in a polygynous relationship where both parties know? Oh, no. Now, what type of sense is that? You can talk to a man and you know this man got a lady and he dealing with another woman. You know what I mean? And you the other woman, and you may not be fine with that, but you're doing it. You're doing it. But if I ask a woman, could you be in a polygynous relationship like how, you know, how my life is, they'll say no. So that's very hypocritical. You know what I mean? No more difference than you're assisting the problem. No different than a man who's not being honest when a woman is living like that, talking to niggas that they know got a wife or got a woman. You know what I mean? But then you couldn't come to the table and be honest with the situation, and you get along with that woman.
Because that involves putting your big girl panties on, and we are not always ready or able to do that. So. Yeah.
What are some of your notes you have? Did you? Is it something? No, I'm saying. I say you wrote some things down. I was wondering what that was.
Oh, just just the things that I've said before about a woman just needing to be confident in herself. But a lot of it comes down, as far as women, we try to force men to be monogamous. And that's where the problem comes in. Like you said, because you have that freedom to go out and date other women and deal with them as you please, because of the openness here. Us as women, we try to force men to be monogamous and not realizing that only intrigues him more into pushing to be with other women. It makes him push even harder because you're telling him no. That makes him push even harder. But if you're giving him that space to just be himself and not trying to force him into being monogamous, then you'll get a better result than a woman who's trying to force him into being monogamous.
And just so people know, this ain't no relationship where the women dealing with each other and all that kind of stuff. This is more structured and biblically based when it comes down to it. Like, we not in here, all sleeping together and all that kind of stuff. No, this is about family. I got a son with her, a daughter with my other wife, and we come together. And my son with her, that's 4 years old. He loves his mima. That's what he called, my other wife. He loved her to death. He don't know nothing about what's going on. He loves his mommy, and he loves his mima, and he has the best of all worlds.
He got 3 parents, and he played a role between all of us. If one say no, he gonna ask the other 2 and make his way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And he enjoys his everyday life in his house. And we brought incomes together. We got business, thriving business, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? Because it makes sense because we understand that in the society and the world that we live in right now, with one, you struggling. With two, you struggling. You know what I'm saying? With three, you ain't got no business struggling. You know what I mean? You don't have to struggle with one. You don't have to struggle with two. Meaning, if you're a single woman or a single man, you don't have to struggle. If you're a man and a woman that's in a relationship together, you don't have to struggle. I'm just saying that when you can put aside any of those types of emotions and bring multiple incomes together, it just make it that much better. And when things like like
even when COVID hit,
the pandemic. That's what I'm about to say.
When the pandemic hit, I really sat back one day this is like regular life. But I know that this is a real thing that's happening. People around the world are impacted, but in our household, we were insulated. Everything flowed as if there was no pandemic going on because we had each other inside the house. We had each other in order to make sure things just flowed as they should, financially, house-wise, children-wise. So that gave a certain stability and confidence, and it's all created off him being that lead in this household with us, making sure that everything flows. He's not over us. You guys need to be nice. I don't see you guys have a movie. Me and her, we flow on our own, and it's nothing that's forced. Me coming into it, something that was important to me was not to force my presence, for me and her to build organically, because I can be a lot at times. I got a big personality, a big mouth, all that. So I can be a lot if I try to force my presence on somebody. But for us to build organically was certainly important for me to doing this. And, it's based off him just giving us that space. So no, we're not sitting here braiding each other hair at night oh, girl, what you do? It's not that, but it's more of a sisterly, we work together. Family is business.
Right.
And
marriage is business.
Yeah. Marriage is business. Family is business. And we all co-workers working under the CEO of the whole situation right here.
Yeah, and the scripture tell you don't be no tyrant in your household. I ain't no tyrant in my house. I don't, they go do what they want to do. I don't sit back and, not literally do what you want to do, but I don't sit back and I'm not over them like no damn taskmaster or no schoolmaster, whatever, with no rod or whatever, telling them what they can't do, this, that, and the third. They live how they live. If they want to go somewhere, you go. Just be safe. Whatever it is that you're doing, I have to have some, guidelines and things of that nature, but my boundaries, they stretch, and my guidelines, they stretch. And I'm not dealing with two women that are pushing to stretch the guidelines and the boundaries. We live a simple life. What I'm saying? Getting, working, trying to get to the money, building our own business.
Believing in ATL.
Yeah, and listen, we came down here and with a thought. See, they believe in my vision. You know what I'm saying? I've always had, and my wife that I've been with the longest, she done seen me have a vision and go out and make that happen. You know what I mean? When she met me, I was heavy into the music industry. And you know what I mean? And I told her, I'm like, listen, like everybody that know me, I'm going to make this happen. And that's what I did. I made it happen. I went out on my own as a young man, searching for that goal and that dream, and I was able to achieve it. I ran into the group that I idolized, EPMD, ran into them. You know what I mean? Met them, you know what I'm saying? When I met them, P, who was my idol, PMD, I ended up moving in the crib with him, which then forged me a relationship with who became my manager, D Wade. You know what I mean? That's who became my manager. From there, we moved on forward. I ended up running into another one of my partners, Derek Jackson, who then we all kicked it and went in studios, and we in New York, Times Square, at unique, I'm talking about legendary moments in hip hop. I was pretty much at all of them. You know what I mean? Then I end up signing my own record deal, in 2002, 2003. And, talking about almost a $500,000 deal. You know what I mean? Then end up getting a $400,000 pub deal. And she's sitting there watching me, flying out to Hollywood to star in the movie with Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, and Harrison Ford. First movie was Hollywood Homicide with Harrison Ford, Josh Hartnett, Master P, Gladys Knight was in it, Corrupt. And, they flew us out there. We caught a check for that. You know what I mean? Went out there acting the movie. They didn't keep our part in the movie, but they kept my song in the movie, our song in the movie, in one of the most pivotal moments in the movie. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there at the movie theater at the premiere looking, watching Josh Hartnett roll down the street in the drop top, bumping my song. Adam Sandler, he picked our record to be in the movie Longest Yard with Nelly, Adam Sandler, and Chris Rock. So these are big dreams and things that people have that I'm bringing to fruition. And just like with this, I said, yo, we gonna move down to Atlanta. You know what I mean? We're gonna move down to Atlanta. We're gonna open up a vegan restaurant, vegan lounge. It's gonna be an older hip hop. So we ain't got the brick and mortar, but we've been out doing pop-ups everywhere, and we done implemented ourselves into the vegan community down here in Atlanta. And I'm talking about quickly, everybody getting to know us. You know, you can go to our IG page at Unbelievegan ATL. That's UNBELIE. BEGANATL, and you know, you get testimonies on there, and we vast. I'm talking about like we growing down here. So when you a man and you got a plan and you got a vision and you know the direction to go, that's attractive to women. And as long as you can keep a woman attracted to you and stay a step ahead of the game, man, don't get in the house and lose yourself. You know what I mean? I don't want to be with no woman that lose herself, you know, like get in the house, get comfortable. You know what I mean? You know, your look is going down. You know, you got to try to keep yourself up. We got to try to keep ourselves up, because that's what's going to keep the relationship flowing and you know, bubbling and feeling good. So again, man, we appreciate, you know, people checking in. You know, we're going to be going, actually, I'm getting ready to drop another video on the YouTube page. Make sure y'all go to our YouTube page, click the link and subscribe, man. It's called Polynomics with These P. You know what I mean? Just click the link. It's on my page in my bio of my IG. Click the link and subscribe. I'm going to have special guests on there. You know what I mean? Celebrity guests on there. And, you know, we're going to really get into this topic of the black culture, man, here in America, man, the African-American culture, which I know to be the Israelite culture. But, you know, I don't want to even really mix religion, you know, into it so much, or politics into it so much, because we as a people, we already know and understand who we are as a people. You know what I mean? What we need to do is move in the spirit and unify with one another. And by doing that, we're going to be able to, you know, cover a lot of grounds that we continually every day find ourselves losing grasp of. What you got to say?
Yeah, you know what? Because everything is based out of love, and I think that's what this foundation of our lifestyle in this household is about. It's literally all based out of love. So, you know, just before we close out, you know, because the whole topic today was, you know, men creating a space where they're being honest with women about their polygynous desires, and women creating that space for them. So ladies, you know, just like he's telling the men to, you know, just be upfront and honest about their desires, understand that some men might still have that fear in them. They may not have gotten these gems to just come out and let a woman know that they're monogamous. So for my ladies, as a final note,
polygynous, you mean?
What did I say?
You monogamous. You mean every day.
Polygynous.
No, but no, I just wanted to say that so they don't get misconstrued what you're saying. You know.
Thank you.
You know, and you know, all I can say. Let me answer a few questions though, sister.
Okay. Wait, no, but let me tell them, like, women in those conversations, when you meeting men in that dating process, like, be open and upfront and asking them upfront, like, okay, so are you a monogamous man or do you want multiple women? And most men are probably going to say, no, I only want one woman, because they're trained to think that way. But I want y'all to really push that, not so much for them, but for yourself, so you can really get down to what type of man that is. Like, okay, are you sure you only into one woman? If it's just me and you for a period of time, do you think you might change your mind? Like, and even if they say that they are only into being one woman, keep that in the back of your mind, that could always change. So you don't set yourself up and end up loving a man and being with him, but then feeling like you need to end the relationship because he wants to have somebody else in his life. Like, don't cheat yourself out your blessing, because had I done that when I met him, then I wouldn't have the child that I have. I wouldn't have the life that I have. And I don't regret any choices that I made into being in this life with him. And I can tell you that we lived it happily. We lived it successful. And just open up your horizons. Don't put yourself into a box to where you got slim pickings already and it's probably never going to happen. You're going to die alone with a dog.
That's what we mean by that, dying alone. You know, Kevin Samuels said that was the realest shit ever, man. Samuels. And I didn't need Kevin Samuels to talk. I've been talking like this. They know I've been talking like this long before Kevin Samuel ever even existed on there. As far as we know of him being Kevin Samuels, that we know of him, I've been on this path, 10 years, you know what I mean? I've been talking about this. So this goes way beyond Kevin Samuels. I just know that that and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, who I definitely looked at I loved and respected. I loved and respect that man, regardless of whatever anything personal about him. What he was saying was 100% real, and it was true. You know what I mean?
And real women knew that what he was talking about was real.
Yeah, because all he was doing was talking to women. So most women are sitting on the sideline having a problem when this nigga got 18, 25, 40,000 views every time he go on Instagram. So all women, the majority, and women keep going on there. You got women got a problem with him, but you keep going to his page.
But the ones that disagree are the exact ones he was speaking
that he was talking about. You know what I mean?
Only hit dog holler.
Yeah, right. And all y'all women, that's, you know what I'm saying, these younger women, 20s and 30s, I'm telling you, man, you don't end up like these women in their 40s and 50s, man.
Don't let your auntie, your grandma, and them talk you into being alone, sis. Don't let them talk you into being alone. Learn, relearn. If they are not living the type of life that you want to live, if they bitter, if they sharing the same stories about men ain't nothing and things like that your homegirls got to share, don't take advice from them. Take advice from women who are living the type of life that you want to live.
Word. And stop leasing your coochie out. You dig? Stop leasing your coochie out. And what I mean by that is
have some boundaries.
You know, no, that's what you've been doing. That's what you've been doing. A woman been doing her whole life, searching for that one. That one. You done been. You first start off in high school with the teenager. He popped you down. You ain't with him. You move on to college or whatever the case. You done had a couple of bodies in between there, good guys that you thought was in. That didn't work out. Go to college, that didn't go work out. You in your late 20s, 30s now. You got probably got a couple children now. You know what I'm saying? Still searching for that one. And as a man, we automatically we know that one ain't out there. And if he is out there, he gonna be an older man. He gonna be a man and I'm telling y'all, like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I can't be more honest and upfront than what I'm being. And for those that the ears that it land on that can receive it, beautiful. You know what I mean? And those that it don't, then all I can do is pray for you. But I'm telling you right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's real. A man don't even really reach his peak till he's damn near 40 years old.
Get him a little older, ladies. But I definitely want this message to get down to our younger girls too. Like my 17, 18, 19, those younger girls, I need this message to get down to y'all so you don't deal with the heartbreak, the mental issues that come behind these things, the confident issues that come behind, oh, a man is only supposed to be with me. Like, I need us to heal from a younger age because I'm seeing too many of my young girls, my young babies. I come from dealing in the boys and girls clubs and watching my young girls literally fighting about boys. Literally fighting about boys. Oh, you dating him, you talking to him. And it's sickening. So that's why we do this, so that we can get it to our older ones who are pouring down into our younger ones. Because me as a boy mom, I have 3 sons. So I'm trying to pour into the women that are my age who are raising up the young women that my sons have to pick through and find a wife. Of course, we're going to be a part of the process of my shoe finding his wife. But my young girls, I need y'all to get this message. Stop listening to these old, bitter, lonely women. Yeah, man. Get you some jewels over here with us.
Come get these. Come get these jewels. And she know what she's speaking on. She live it. See, people talk about it. You hear people talking about marriage, ain't never been married. You hear people talking about polygamy or polygyny, ain't never lived it.
Or only understand it from theory. And those voices are definitely needed if you understand it on theory and things like that from what you read. But it's different when you've actually lived it. I'm not talking about you still in that honeymoon phase. You just got into it. Oh, we just became a polygynous family last month. No, we are experienced. We've been in this. We've been through ups and downs. We gonna get into it. I done dang on there walked away at certain points. Like, I don't know if I can do this. So this is where you need to come to get your jewels, that real information from those who are experienced in this life.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Walk away till she get out there and see what it is. And, you got to,
I mean,
put it like
this ain't gonna be another beast piece.
Yeah, because guess what? If it was you, and I'm just saying you because we speaking on it, but a woman would have found that it ain't like you wasn't in relationships before you got with me. You know what I mean? So if you're experienced in relationships, not like you've been in a bunch of them. I'm saying like you understand what it is to be with a man long before you met me. You know what I mean? And then so now, like I tell a woman, you gotta weigh that. You gotta weigh every relationship that you've been in. You gotta weigh that shit with the next man that you with. And if that man that you with is better than what you done had, then you better learn and try to maneuver and deal within that. Because you can be out here, like I said, leasing your coochie out. You know, you from this man to this man. You with this nigga. You with him a year and a half, 2 years, whatever. It didn't work out. Now you done with him.
Be smart with it, lady. Be smart. You sitting on the mine, on the gold mine, like
I'm just saying.
That's treasure. That's
Come
treasure.
on now. You done with him. You 8 months later, you stayed to yourself. You went 8 months, you ain't kicking with a nigga. Another nigga come in your life, you know what I mean? He warm your socks up or whatever. Now you want to get out. Now you kicking it with him. Kicking with him another year or so. That don't work. And then now you just moving from in and out of relationship till you find that one. And that one, it's no perfect one out here. It's no perfect man out here. You know what I mean? And if he's a man that only deal with you to eat, it's going to... It's been plenty.
It might change.
Yeah, no. It's been plenty of women that found the man that just was really with them, wanted to be with them. But then they found other areas and shit that they didn't like about him and left him. He never even cheated on
It
him.
wasn't exciting enough.
Yeah, he wasn't exciting enough. We didn't do nothing together.
Monogamy.
You know what I mean? But he's monogamous. He ain't messed around with no other woman. But he boring. I'm getting bored. He don't do this. He don't do. You're not gonna find that goddamn Superman. Not gonna find that one man that just wrapped it all unless you come holler at me. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying though. He's not out there. So don't think that he out there because he's not out there. But if you find a man that like you and he keep it a buck with you and he tell you that he may or may not deal with other women, go stay with that dude. If that dude came and told you and kept it 100 with you and he told you something like that, get with him. If he's out of control.
Right, and we're gonna talk more about the type of man that's worth doing that for. But overall, if he's adding to your life and adding to your lifestyle and adding to what it is that you want, don't let the relationship style be what limits you. So, I think
She said, I'm gonna go through a few of these questions. Okay. You know what I mean? Well,
drop some questions over here on Instagram too before we get up out of here, y'all. We got about 10 more minutes for questions.
Somebody said, since it's illegal in the States to be poly, do you list one of them as a groundskeeper? A groundskeeper or something? How does that work? No, ain't neither one of these women no damn groundskeeper.
What is a groundskeeper?
Well, a person who tend to the house. They both in that aspect of it.
Oh,
look up what a
grown women do that.
Well, a groundskeeper is a person who keep the grounds.
I don't know. What do you mean by groundskeeper? But I will say, since it's illegal, that's what life insurance and things like that are in place for, because we're not legally on paper to be husband and wife. Like that's what life insurance and those type of things for.
Wills.
And he's expressed his wishes so that if something happened to him before either of us, we know what he wants. So
it says a groundskeeper is a person who cares for the grounds.
That's what I said.
Usually large property.
Yeah, caring for ground.
Usually large property.
So no. We all are groundkeepers. We all care for the grounds.
The grounds
of this foundation. We all are carekeepers. So we all are, caring for the grounds. But that's a good question. You know what I mean? But no, there is no. Just because I've been with my wife,
she is not the boss of me, and I'm not the boss of her. That's
yeah. Just because I've been with her 20 years and only been with her 6 years, yes, there's a sense of
kind of a hierarchy.
Yeah, a hierarchy.
But she can't be like, go to your room. Shit.
Ain't none of that. You know what I mean? They both women got to respect each other. But I'm talking about far as me and my feelings and things. And I was with this woman 14 years before meeting her. So of course which is what I told her. Don't come in and expect that. That's not. We're gonna say that topic, but I'm gonna just close with that too. Like, if this is where I saw a lot of men's relationships in the Hebrew Israelite community fall totally apart, because that woman that was there, who's been there for you, then the new woman come in, and then now you all about the new woman, and you don't know how to balance. You shitting on the woman that was there for you, holding you down all that long time. And I know a lot of women probably fearful of that when that new woman come in.
I talk to women, and that's something they fear. He's going to like the new one more. I'm here to tell y'all, in my personal experience, I am not the favorite just because I'm new. If anything, I probably got a little harder.
Well, yeah, it ain't about the favorite.
No, but that's what women say to me. Like,
that is a
she's going to be the favorite because she's new. Like, that is definitely a fear. We got to touch on that.
Yeah, we'll do that on the next one. You know what I mean? But no, of course, that I've been with her that long, man. You know what I'm saying? So
y'all just connected.
Yeah. We
deeper way. Me and you, we like friends. We kind of just met, and
No, but we prayerfully that we gonna get to that. You know what I mean? And no, we deeper than that. You know what I mean? Definitely deeper than that. I'm just saying
friends.
that in the first 6 years of me being with her, we wasn't the way that we are right now. You know what I mean? So it's called growing. You know what I mean? We grew together, we grew to love each other, and grew to have that bond that we have.
And I don't expect him to love and care about me and be as attached to me in the same way that he is with her. Like, it wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah, and if you smart as a man, that's why I don't do things in front of them either. Like, I don't show either one of them affection in front of each other. You know what I mean? They ain't never seen me show either one of them no affection like that in front of each other, because if you're gonna move like that in the G, at the end of the day, they still women. And even though they accept what's going on, you gotta know as a man, if you're gonna be in a situation like that, you gotta know how to do it,
Boundaries.
man. Nobody didn't teach me though. It's just me being who I am.
So is that your G gym for the day, about affection in front of it?
Yeah, if you're dealing with two women at the same time,
take them home.
Listen, man, don't show no affection to either woman in front of one of the other. Don't show no affection to either one of the women, even if they cool with it. I just don't do that. I just don't and won't do that, because I know how easy it is for a woman for jealousy to rise. Jealousy rises in all of us. Jealousy rises in men, it rises in women. It's just that in this situation, it would be looked at upon as I'm the one who's getting what I want out of it. So the jealousy wouldn't rise in me before it would rise in either of the women that I'm with. And that's understandable.
And for the women, don't feel like, oh, he should show me the same type of affection he shows me in private that he shows me in front of her, because you really don't want to see that. You, like he said, you might be cool with it, but it might be a time where you might be PMSing, your hormones is out of place, and it might strike you wrong in that moment or something like that. Like, there has to be boundaries in place. So yeah, that's a smart way to play it. So that's gonna be our gym for today. We got any more questions on Instagram?
That's my man, my cat say, he am out still offering that mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Jet Black, you already know, man. Like, we gonna make sure that we speak this week, man. Hit me up tomorrow. We you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave my number for you. We can talk definitely. Again, we appreciate all y'all tuning in. Listen, this ain't about to be. We trying to go live twice a week, and we're doing content at least 5 days out of the week. So
we're gonna be chiming in on some of this stuff we see online, with relationships with different people, because it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
Right, and we'll have, she may come on without me, and then our other host who didn't happen to make it tonight on
technical difficulties.
But she definitely gonna be on with us, and she's a trooper and she's a G when it come down to it, just like she is. And then my other wife, she's gonna be coming on at times, and she's a G with it. And what I mean by that is, it's
G as in Jim,
G as in Jim, G as in God, G as in giving. You know what I mean? And that's what this is about, man, because you got to be a giver. You can't be so much of a taker. You have to be a giver. And in order for this to work, that's how you got to live your life. You know what I mean? You got to be a person that want to see something good for somebody else, you know what I mean, before it's just all about you. And that's why we make this work. And I'm closing with this with y'all men. Stop being liars. Stop lying to the women. Be willing to lose it all to gain everything. Man, you 40, 50 years old in the crib, your ass, you miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, not all relationships, but a lot of y'all, man, you know what I mean? And then, I know because I talk to y'all, we kick it. You know what I'm saying? I know this, you know what I mean? And I ain't blowing the whistle, but I'm lightly blowing the whistle. You know what I mean? Be honest, man. Be honest and stand up as a man, so we can change the trajectory of what's going on for our younger generation that's coming in, and letting them know that let the younger women know that it's okay to build with a man, and you be a great sister to that other woman that he's with, and y'all build together. This is the ultimate show of sisterhood.
Y'all talk that sisterhood talk. Hey sis, this is the ultimate show of sisterhood in the deepest way possible. We gonna get
and for those who say they believe in God and you a Christian and all this type of stuff, well, the scripture tell you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. You supposed to want for that other woman the same thing that you would want for yourself. And even down to your man, because why would you not want, if you know that there's an issue out here in the world and there's not enough woman, and the same way God sent that man into your life to raise you up, why would you not want God to do that to this same woman over here? And she's God's daughter as well. And he knows that there's a shortage of men because he orchestrating this whole thing, and a shortage of good men, which you're supposed to be with a good man. So if you run into a good man today, 8 times out of 10, and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, he got somebody. So, but if y'all can all come together and work together and build together, then that's beautiful, man. So again, we about to check up out of here. You've been on with Polynomics with Bees P and my lovely wife Shanice. You know what I mean? And listen, we gonna see y'all again on the next. No, make sure you go to my YouTube page, Polynomics with Bees P. The link is in my bio. Click it on, right? Subscribe to it. Hit the notification bell. We gonna have content up all week. You know what I mean? All week. And it'll be me. It'll be her on her own. It'll be the other sister that's with us. You know what I mean? She going to be dropping gems, man. And we going to be doing this all week long. And y'all going to get content after content after content because it's time for this thing we got to bring some closure here. So, again, we thank y'all. May y'all have a good night.
All right. And we'll see y'all next time.
That's what it is. Peace.
Polynomics.